It's a new year and a new chance for you to make a fresh start with your compliance. For the next 31 days on the FCPA Compliance Report, we're going to be bringing you a daily tip, strategy, or idea that you can use to improve your program. Here's your host, Tom Fox, the Compliance Evangelist.
Day 9, Dynamic Policies and Procedures. One of the key changes coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic was the need for dynamism on corporate policies. This message was driven home in an article entitled "Turbulent Times Demand Dynamic Rules." In this piece, the author stated, circumstances can change rapidly in an uncertain world. Organizational rules should be designed to change along with them. This concept is most appropriate in the compliance arena in the area of risk management. As your risks change, your management of those risks should adapt to this new reality. This is why the DOJ intoned in the 2023 evaluation of corporate compliance programs that you should assess your risks as they change, modify your risk profiles, monitor your risk management strategy, and then update your compliance programs through continuous improvement. There are two types of ways to think through your risk management strategies, traditional and dynamic. In the traditional approach, policies focus on control. Management tells employees what to do, then monitors employees to make sure they obey the rules and impose sanctions on those people who fail to follow them. The traditional mindset views those in upper management as the rule makers, acting independently from those who must follow the rules. In the dynamic approach, management acts as collaborative facilitators working together with employees to create and modify work requirements. Managers recognize that employees are subject matter experts with hands-on practical knowledge that managers often do not possess. Employees are invited into the process. Yet another difference in the traditional and the dynamic approach is determining effectiveness. Something like difference between a tick-the-box approach to compliance versus a fully operationalized compliance program. The third difference between the traditional and dynamic mindset is that rule makers with a traditional mindset are frequently unaware or even unconcerned with the entirety of the impact their rules have on those who must follow them. Instead, there is a narrowed focus on the behavior that a rule's requirements are meant to effect. As long as that behavior is shaped in the desired way, the policy is perceived to be a success. A traditional mindset, in effect, assumes that whatever problems traditional rules cause are outweighed by their benefits to the organization. In contrast, dynamic rules mindsets include a genuine intent to understand the full impact of policies, including their potential detrimental consequences. There are three general areas to improve the dynamic features of policy creation and improvement. The first is to increase employee involvement. This is the natural outcome from a true speak-up culture. The keys are transparency and communication to give employees the tools and trust to join in a collaborative effort. Policies often involve a purpose and requirements. Yet the authors believe that too often organizations offer employees only a cursory explanation, if any, about the purpose of the rules and instead focus on the requirements they must follow. To create dynamic rules, a compliance function needs to do more to explain their purpose by sharing goals with employees. As a CCO explained, can you explain why a rule is created, what its proposed requirements will be, and how those requirements will serve the purpose of the rule? By opening a dialogue with employees about the entire situation, leaders can express empathy for any extra effort that will be involved in policy compliance and achieve a higher level of commitment. The next area might be a little different for a corporate compliance function. It involves experimentation. The author suggests that rather than spending months crafting the perfect rule, organizations only need to develop one which is good enough and roll it out with a full understanding that it will be updated and improved over time, based in part on the feedback from employees. Additionally, a similar process can start in one department. For instance, to test and build an infrastructure for rule experimentation across an organization. Such an approach does require robust monitoring, which of course is also a challenge. The third area is both innovative, yet is something that should be familiar to every CCO, which is a policy audit. This is similar to a financial audit, which involves an extensive examination of the financial state of an organization. A rule audit evaluates a company's existing policies. The goal is to assess whether existing rules need to be updated to fit the organization's current risk environment. The first step is to identify that they are the most disruptive for individuals and organizations. Ideally, an organization will be able to assess this at both the systems level and the individual level. The dynamic policy process can build dynamic rules to enhance your company's ability to anticipate and cope with risk changes. When the corporate compliance function embraces experimentation and learning in the creation and formulation of policies, it builds flexibility into the organization's structure, processes, and practices. This type of flexibility is essential as we move from disaster recovery to business resiliency to business as usual, especially in the field of risk management. So what are today's 3 key takeaways? Number 1, after COVID-19, your policies must be as dynamic as your business, and the Department of Justice has reflected this beginning with the 2020 update to the evaluation of corporate compliance programs, continuing to the 2023 ECCP. Number 2, there are 3 general areas to improve the dynamic features of policy creation and improvement. They are transparency, experimentation, and innovation. And finally, number 3, garner your feedback from your users on the effectiveness of your compliance programs. This is Tom Fox again. I hope you'll join me tomorrow where we take a look at policies and procedures on gifts and business entertainment. For more information, check out my seminal 1-volume handbook, The Compliance Handbook, 4th edition, which I link to in the show notes for more information on this topic and all other topics related to a best practices compliance program. This is Tom Fox again. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program. 31 Days to a More Effective Compliance Program is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.